Ever wish you could test drive some of those big business decisions, before they actually hit the real world?
Oh, yeah.
Well, today's deep dive is going to drop us right into that hot seat.
Okay,
With the
gotcha.
Robotek MIP simulation. We're talking sales and operations planning,
Right.
or S&OP.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about making sure that a company can actually deliver what it promises,
Yeah.
especially when things get a little crazy, like during the holiday rush. Think you can handle the pressure?
Well, what's really fascinating about this is that S&OP isn't just about cranking out more toys,
All
right?
right.
It forces you to think about the whole picture. So how do you balance what customers want
Yeah.
with what's actually possible to make and at what cost?
Right.
And this simulation is a fantastic way to really grapple with those real-world trade-offs.
So in this simulation, we are stepping into Robotek Systems,
Okay.
the company behind a super popular educational robot called MIP.
Mm-hmm.
And these toys are flying off the shelves, especially with the holidays right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
But as you can imagine, keeping up with that demand
Yeah.
is no easy feat.
And to make things even more interesting, we have two key players with very different perspectives and priorities.
Okay.
You've got Anna Hassan, who's head of operations, and she is laser focused on keeping those production costs down.
Makes sense.
Her bonus is on the line.
Right.
And then there's Joe Smith, the head of sales at Toyland,
Okay.
which is the exclusive retailer for MIP.
Got it.
And he's all about crushing the competition and making sure MIP is the top dog in that educational robot market.
Okay. I'm already sensing some potential conflicts here.
Oh, yeah.
So Anna's worried about those rising production costs,
Yeah.
especially with all that subcontracting they might need to do during the holiday season.
Right.
Meanwhile, Joe is dreaming up these big promotional campaigns to boost sales.
Mm-hmm.
How do we even begin to reconcile these, competing goals?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's exactly what S&OP is all about.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you can meet demand
Yeah.
without breaking the bank or sacrificing quality.
Right.
This simulation forces you to consider all of those factors, like production costs, inventory levels, potential overtime, and make strategic decisions based on data, not just gut feelings.
So it's like this giant puzzle
Yeah.
where every piece is connected.
It is.
You tweak one thing over here,
Yeah.
and it has this ripple effect over there.
Exactly.
And we've got to figure out how to make all those pieces fit together
Yeah.
to create a profitable and sustainable operation.
Exactly. And to help you navigate this complex puzzle, the simulation provides you with an Excel-based tool.
Okay.
This tool lets you run different scenarios and see how your decisions play out. It's like a sandbox for experimenting with different variables,
Okay.
like demand forecasts, production capacity, pricing strategies, and seeing the impact on the bottom line.
So it's not just about finding the right answer.
Right.
It's about understanding the dynamics at play and making informed choices based on the data you have. This simulation is like having a crystal ball
Oh, wow.
that lets you peek into the future
Yeah.
and see the potential consequences of your actions.
What's particularly insightful is this approach helps you identify those hidden costs and understand the trade-offs involved in every decision.
Yeah.
For example, you might think offering a big discount will boost sales,
Right.
which is great for Joe,
Uh,
but what will that do to Anna's production costs and the company's overall profit margin?
okay, so it's like a game of chess
Yes.
where you have to think several moves ahead
Yeah.
and anticipate the consequences of each decision. But where do we even begin? Already feeling a little overwhelmed just thinking about all the factors we need to consider.
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Oh.
Before you even dive into the simulation,
Hmm.
take some time to really understand the challenge.
Hmm.
What are the key objectives? What are Anna's biggest concerns? What's driving Joe's decisions?
Hmm.
Once you have a firm grasp of the lay of the land, you can start to formulate a strategy. And this is where it gets really interesting. As you dig into the simulation, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Like, what happens if demand is higher than expected?
Yeah.
What are the implications of delaying a product launch or running out of stock during the holiday season?
Yeah.
How does each decision impact not only profitability, but also customer satisfaction and the company's reputation?
It sounds like we need to walk a tightrope between meeting those immediate demands and setting ourselves up for success in the long run.
Yeah.
How do we balance the short-term gains with long-term sustainability?
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of boosting sales today, but what about tomorrow?
You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
One of the core principles of S&OP is finding that balance.
Right.
So, for example, if you ramp up production to meet a sudden surge in demand,
Mm-hmm.
what are the long-term implications?
Yeah.
Do you hire more people knowing you might have to let them go later?
Right.
Do you push your existing employees to work overtime, risking burnout and potentially impacting quality?
It's like juggling a bunch of flaming torches while riding a unicycle.
Oh my God.
There are so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And we need to keep them all in the air. How do we even begin to coordinate all these different aspects of the business? I mean, in the simulation, we've got Anna and Joe
Right.
coming from different departments with potentially conflicting priorities.
That's where strong communication and a shared understanding of the company's overall objectives are absolutely essential.
Okay.
Think of it this way. S&OP is like conducting an orchestra. You have all these talented musicians, sales, marketing, operations, finance, each playing their part. But if they're not all playing in harmony, following the same sheet music,
Yeah.
you'll just get noise, not music.
So it's not about one conductor,
Right.
or in this case, one department calling all the shots.
Exactly.
It's about getting everyone's input, understanding their concerns, and working together to find the best solution for the company as a whole.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. And that's where the simulation really shines.
Okay.
It forces you to think about those coordination challenges and find creative solutions. The Excel tool becomes your instrument. It helps you analyze data, model different scenarios, and see the potential outcomes of your decisions. But remember, it's just a tool.
Right.
The real magic happens when you use that data to inform your strategic choices and communicate effectively with your team.
So it's like we're playing a game of what if.
Yes.
What if we launch a new product during the holiday season? What if we offer a discount to early bird shoppers?
Yeah.
What if a key supplier experiences a delay? The simulation lets us test out these different scenarios and see how they might impact our overall plan.
And by exploring those what-ifs, you start to understand the potential risks and rewards associated with different strategies.
Right.
You might find that a certain promotion looks fantastic on paper because it boosts sales in the short term. But what if it creates a huge backlog in production and ends up costing the company more money in the long run?
Okay, so it's not just about chasing the biggest numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding the story behind those numbers and making sure they align with our overall goals. But let's face it, not all businesses are created equal. And the way you approach S&OP will probably depend on a company's specific goals and priorities.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
If you're a company that's hyper-focused on cutting costs and maximizing efficiency, your S&OP strategy might look very different than a company that's all about innovation and new product launches.
Right.
Understanding the company's core values and what they're ultimately trying to achieve is key to developing an effective S&OP plan.
Now, one thing that really stood out to me in the materials for this deep dive was the importance of looking beyond just internal data when making these S&OP decisions. Right. It's not enough to just focus on what's happening inside our own four walls, right?
It's like trying to navigate a maze while wearing blinders.
Wow.
You might be able to move forward, but you're going to miss a lot of important information along the way.
Right.
That's why it's so important to stay informed about external factors that could impact your business.
Like changes in consumer behavior, emerging technologies, new competitors entering the market, or even global events. Any of these could have a ripple effect on our supply chain and demand forecasts.
And this is where those analytical skills come in handy again.
Yep.
It's not just about crunching numbers.
Right.
It's about connecting the dots between those external trends and your internal operations.
Yeah.
How might a sudden shift in consumer preferences impact sales forecasts? How might a disruption in the global supply chain affect production costs?
Right.
These are all questions that a well-executed S&OP process helps you answer.
So we need to be flexible,
Yes.
adaptable,
Yeah.
and ready to adjust our course as needed. We can't just create a plan and then stick to it rigidly no matter what happens in the world around us.
Right.
It sounds like S&OP is a continuous process of learning, adapting, and refining our strategies.
Precisely. And that's one of the things I find so exciting about S&OP. It's not a static one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
It's a dynamic framework that helps companies navigate complexity, make informed decisions, and ultimately achieve their goals.
Okay.
But remember, it's not a magic bullet. S&OP requires collaboration, commitment, and a willingness to embrace change.
It sounds like we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about the core principles of S&OP,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of data-driven decision-making,
Yeah.
the challenges of coordination,
Uh-huh.
and the need to balance short-term gains with long-term sustainability.
Hmm.
But before we wrap up, I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the potential benefits of a well-executed S&OP process.
Okay.
Because when done right, it can truly be a game changer for companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like S&OP is one of those things that can really make or break a company,
Cool, yeah.
especially in like a fast-paced industry like tech toys, where trends change quickly and competition is fierce.
Right.
So what are some of the biggest advantages companies can gain from implementing S&OP effectively?
Well, when done right, S&OP can help companies achieve some pretty remarkable things.
Okay.
For starters, it can significantly improve your forecasting accuracy. Instead of relying on guesswork or gut feelings, you're using data and analytics to predict future demand,
Right.
which helps you make more informed decisions about production, inventory, and even marketing.
Yeah.
This can lead to fewer stockouts, less waste, and ultimately a healthier bottom line.
That makes sense if you can anticipate demand more accurately.
Yeah.
You can avoid those costly situations where you either have too much inventory sitting on shelves gathering dust, or even worse, not enough product to meet customer demand during a crucial period, like, say, the holiday season.
Exactly. And beyond forecasting, S&OP can also help streamline production processes.
Okay.
By coordinating production schedules with sales forecasts, you can optimize your resources, reduce lead times, and minimize those dreaded production bottlenecks that can throw a wrench in the whole operation.
So it's like a well-choreographed dance where every department knows their steps and moves in sync with the others.
Yeah.
No one's stepping on anyone's toes,
Yeah.
and everyone's working together to create a seamless and efficient performance.
I like that analogy, and that kind of coordination and efficiency can have a ripple effect across the entire company.
Yeah.
Imagine smoother operations, happier customers, and a more engaged and motivated workforce.
That's right.
It can really transform the way a company operates.
Now, I know we've been talking a lot about the benefits of S&OP,
Yeah.
but I want to circle back to some of the potential pitfalls we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Because even with the best intentions, things can go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So what are some of those common traps that companies should watch out for when implementing S&OP?
One of the biggest pitfalls is that disconnect between S&OP and the company's overall strategy. It's like having a meticulously detailed roadmap, but no clear destination in mind.
Okay.
You might be putting in all this effort into planning and forecasting, but if it's not aligned with the company's long-term goals and objectives, you're essentially driving in circles.
It's like trying to bake a cake without a recipe.
Yeah.
You might have all the ingredients, but without a clear idea of what you're trying to create, you'll likely end up with a culinary disaster.
Exactly, and that's why it's crucial to ensure that your S&OP process is tightly integrated with the company's strategic goals.
Right.
What is the company trying to achieve in the long run?
Yeah.
Are they focused on rapid growth, expanding into new markets, maximizing profitability, or something else entirely?
Right.
Once you understand those goals, you can tailor your S&OP approach to support them.
Another pitfall that comes to mind is what our source material called senior management indecision.
Oh, yeah.
So you've put together this amazing S&OP plan.
Yeah.
Everyone's bought in, but then it gets stuck in the approval process because leadership can't seem to make a decision.
It's like that old saying, analysis paralysis. Sometimes leaders can get so bogged down in the details trying to weigh every possible outcome
Yeah.
that they struggle to pull the trigger and make those tough decisions, especially when trade-offs are involved.
Okay.
And that hesitation can really stall the entire S&OP process, leading to missed opportunities and a lot of frustration among the team.
It's like being stuck at a green light because the driver in front of you is too busy checking their text messages to notice the traffic is moving again.
Oh, yeah.
It's frustrating and inefficient.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to foster a culture of decisiveness and empower leaders to make those tough calls, even when there's a degree of uncertainty.
Right.
Remember, in the fast-paced world of business, sometimes a good decision made quickly is better than a perfect decision made too late.
Now, another pitfall we discussed earlier is the tendency to get fixated on that single number forecast. It's tempting to want to pinpoint that one magic number that predicts exactly how much we'll sell next month or next quarter.
Right.
But as we all know, the future is rarely that predictable.
You're right. Focusing too much on that single number can create a false sense of security.
Okay.
Remember, forecasts are based on a lot of assumptions and historical data, and those assumptions might not always hold true.
Right.
Unexpected events can happen, markets can shift, and consumer preferences can change on a dime.
It's like trying to predict the weather weeks in advance.
Yeah.
You might be able to get a general sense of what to expect, but there are always going to be surprises along the way.
That's why it's much more helpful to think in terms of ranges and scenarios.
Okay.
What if demand is higher than expected? What if a key supplier runs into production problems? What if a new competitor enters the market?
Right.
By running these what-if scenarios, you can prepare for a wider range of possibilities and develop contingency plans to mitigate potential risks.
So flexibility and adaptability are key in the world of S&OP.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to be able to pivot and adjust our course as needed, rather than clinging rigidly to a plan that might no longer be relevant.
Exactly. And that brings us to another common pitfall.
Okay.
The tendency to focus too much on short-term results at the expense of long-term sustainability. It's easy to get caught up in the urgency of meeting this month's sales targets or hitting this quarter's numbers.
Yeah.
But that short-term focus can lead to myopic decision-making that might not be in the company's best interests down the line.
It's like eating a whole bag of candy in one sitting.
Oh my.
It might feel good in the moment,
Right.
but you're likely going to regret it later.
That's a great analogy, and that's why it's so crucial to adopt a long-term perspective in your S&OP process.
Yeah.
What are the implications of your decisions for the next year or even the next 5 years?
Right.
Are you building a foundation for sustainable growth, or are you sacrificing the future for short-term gains?
So it's about finding that balance between seizing opportunities today and creating a future where the company can continue to thrive and evolve.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, one of the most insightful takeaways from the Robotek simulation, and really from any S&OP exercise, is the importance of thinking about product lifecycle management.
Okay.
It's not enough to just focus on managing your existing products.
Right.
You need to consider where those products are in their life cycle and anticipate what's coming down the pipeline.
That makes sense. If you're launching a new product, for example, you need to factor in the ramp-up time, the marketing push, and the potential impact on your existing product lines.
Yeah.
And if a product is nearing the end of its life cycle, you need to start thinking about phasing it out and managing inventory accordingly.
Absolutely. Failing to consider these life cycle transitions can lead to costly surprises like inventory shortages, production bottlenecks, or even missed sales opportunities. It's all about planning ahead and being proactive.
And remember, data is your friend.
Yes.
Track those product launches, analyze the trends, monitor the market, and use those insights to inform your S&OP decisions.
Right.
The more data you have, the better equipped you'll be to make those informed decisions and navigate the complexities of the business world.
You've got it. And speaking of data, don't forget the importance of looking beyond your internal metrics. Keep your finger on the pulse of the market, monitor those external trends, and factor those insights into your S&OP process.
Okay.
Things like industry reports, economic forecasts, consumer behavior studies, and even competitor analysis can provide invaluable context for your planning.
So it's about connecting the dots between what's happening in the world around us and what's happening inside our own company.
Exactly.
It's about understanding how those external forces might impact our business and adjusting our strategy accordingly.
Exactly. And ultimately, that's what S&OP is all about.
Yeah.
Making informed, data-driven decisions that help companies achieve their goals and navigate the ever-changing landscape of the business world.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of S&OP. We've explored the core principles, the potential benefits, the common pitfalls, and the importance of strategic thinking, data analysis, and collaboration.
As you prepare to embark on the Robotek MIP simulation, remember it's more than just a set of spreadsheets and numbers.
Right.
It's an opportunity to step into the shoes of a business leader, grapple with real-world challenges, and test out your decision-making skills in a safe and controlled environment.
Yeah.
So embrace the challenge, ask questions, experiment, and most importantly, have fun.
And who knows? Maybe this deep dive will spark a passion for S&OP and inspire you to pursue a career in this dynamic and ever-evolving field. So good luck with the simulation, and remember the lessons you learn here can be applied to countless other industries and even your own personal financial planning. Think of it as a toolkit for making smarter decisions and navigating the complexities of life both in the business world and beyond. Until next time, happy planning.